everyone, this is Stone with the Diabolical League of Awesome, and I am here with the star and director of Beauty Is Embarassing, Wayne White and Neil Berkeley. I don't know why I said Nick. I've been really bad with names this week. Sorry. And of course, we've got the infamous LBJ head that has seen some better days. So there's like 4 of these, and I didn't even know there was 4. What kind of party did you guys have where these are all in pieces now?
It was a fun party, you know. LBJ, Lyndon partied, and now he's a little hungover, but he'll be better in a few days.
That was just the first night. He's been out drinking and whoring ever since we got here.
Wow, he's been all around town. So I want to talk about Beauty Is Embarassing because, you know, I love the fact that this kind of stuff, I didn't even know who you were before this, by the way, but everything you've done I've loved. I just couldn't put a name to the products because, like, I grew up with Pee-wee's Playhouse and stuff like that. And there's a line you said in the movie that was just brilliant, is that art is supposed to be fun. And I think the reason why I was so out of it is because I got so tired of these douchebag artists who were just trying to be, you know, oh, it's got to have meaning and not just fun. And so when I watched this movie, my creative juices just went bam, right back where it was supposed to be because it was awesome. How was it like to make this movie and just show the world kind of behind the scenes of what you do?
Well, first of all, it's very satisfying to see the movie. And the experience was relatively painless. You know, Neil was a craftsman and a professional. He kind of just stood to the side, let me do my thing, and let me be natural, let me be who I am. And I think that's the power of the movie, is that I felt at ease to be myself. So that's the craft that Neil brought to it. He brought out the best of me, you know. And watching the movie, it's like watching the best version of me. I mean, even I look at that movie and go, yeah, I want to be like that guy.
Exactly. And so, making this movie, how much fun did you have just following around and being part of this world?
It was a blast. That was like, I see all these scenes and I think, wow, for the rest of my life I get to say I was there. Like, I was in that topless van going up that hill, scared to death, looking over the left side where there's a 100-foot ravine we don't get a good shot of, but it was a thrilling, scary ride. And I was in that room with Wayne, and I was in the backyard when he was in the coveralls, and I was there. Like, just making this movie is such a wonderful memory for me. So yeah, I love talking about that because it is a great experience.
You know, and another thing that I loved was you can make whatever you want. And I'm that way with my son. And I just find it very satisfying to see other people who can be like, hey, you can just make something if you can't find it. What is the craziest thing you've ever made?
I would say the world's largest George Jones head down in Houston, Texas in 2009. It was 26 feet long. It snored. It had whiskey breath. Its eyes opened and closed. And you could look in a hole in the back of his head and see a George Jones nightmare, a little George dancing endlessly in the honky-tonk from hell. That's definitely my favorite, weirdest thing.
Whiskey breath. How did you pull that one off?
I got a big bowl of cheap whiskey. I put a wick in it that soaked up the whiskey, and then I blew a fan through the wick, and it just smelled like a brewery.
Wow, that's pretty awesome right there. Whiskey breath statue. Now, I really want to talk about Pee-wee's Playhouse. You've probably been asked about that like a million times, but I loved that show. And you see you guys making the, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like the premiere season where you guys are just however it goes, and then you shift to the Hollywood section. How different was that really when you work for yourself to a studio?
It was very different. The first year, and I always say this, the power of Pee-wee's Playhouse was the fact that it was made by a bunch of desperate artists in downtown New York and not the usual team of Hollywood hacks. All of us had never worked on a Hollywood production before. We were painters, sculptors, cartoonists, even writers got involved. So it was a bunch of crazy artists out for the first time, and we broke into the back door of CBS, and we got to make this crazy renegade art project, and that was the power of it. And we were desperately trying to pull something together in New York because most of us were learning on the job, and the conditions were horrible, and we made it in a sweatshop loft in downtown New York. It wasn't even a sound stage. The conditions were deplorable, but we didn't care because we knew we were making something great. As opposed to the second year in Hollywood when we were a hit and we got to be the bosses and put on our sunglasses and go to all to the production studios and tell them how to remake all this crap that we made the first year. And that was fun, and we got maybe a little spoiled that second year, you know. But both versions were fun. The first version was fun because we were creating it from scratch and it was brand new. And the second version in Hollywood was fun because we got to act like big shots because we had a hit on our hands, you know.
What was the name of that puppet show you guys did behind the scenes?
The Flocked Box.
Now, how come that's not like mass release? Because that stuff would look just hilarious from what I saw.
Yeah, how come it's not mass released? How come CBS, ABC? Come on. Believe me, I tried. I used to pitch shows all the time in Hollywood, but nobody wanted my crazy.
That was a good type of crazy.
Crowds are seeing that for the first time. That's been in the shoebox.
Yeah,
25
that's
years.
the first. I haven't even seen it in 20 years. So that's an exclusive.
I know. I just want to see more. Those little weird puppets, like he had like this worm and this other stuff, and it looked totally bizarre and totally up my alley.
That's more true to my puppeteering, that form of puppeteering, than a slick on-air stuff. I like funky homemade puppets a lot, you know.
I just love funky homemade anything.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier, you know, you can make anything. Yes, I can make anything. Anything I can think of, I can make. And that gives me so much satisfaction and happiness.
See, I'm the same way. Like, Little Stone decided he wanted a pack of prehistoric eels. That's not something you could buy, so I made him all these eels with felt and these little eyes, and they had little felt teeth, and he ran around. There's like 6 of them, and he loved it.
What's better? What's better than thinking it and doing it? Money can't buy it. The richest people in the world can't do it necessarily. It's the greatest joy in the world to think it and make it. What, you know.
So, Neil, why did you decide to make this film? What is it that drew you to want to make a movie about this dude?
Well, you touched on it right when we kicked off the interview. People my age, my interest in pop culture tracked his career since I'm 7 years old. Like, I was a Pee Wee fan. I was a Beatles fan. Then in high school, I was a fan of the Smashing Pumpkins videos and the Big Time videos. And then I got into the word paintings when I met him. So anytime my visual interest was on pop culture, he was right there, whether I knew it or not. And then when I met him, I was immediately fascinated by him. Like everyone, you know, I didn't know who you were, but I've known everything you've done. I had that experience, that, you know, thought process. And so 10 years later, when I finally had the drive and the means to do something, I bought a camera and started doing it. This is my first movie, so
It's a pretty good movie for your first movie.
Can I just say this? Neil, I am your father.
Oh, that's pretty good. You even did the voice pretty well, too.
Well, you know.
So, your first movie, I had no clue. I mean, it came together really, really well. You did a fantastic job. And like I said, I was in that creative slump because I got so tired of these people. Because we live in Austin, and I'm not going to lie, we're full of artist douchebags. They're everywhere you go. And, you know, yeah, you're going to see them all outside. And it's just like, I got tired of making stuff and trying. And, you know, I write and do all sorts of fun stuff. But when I wasn't even expecting this movie. Like, I got the email about it. I was like, sure, why not? Let's do it. And then I watched it, and it was one of those ones where everyone in the house had to stop and watch because they were just drawn into it. And now all of our creative juices are just right back where they used to be when we were back in art school, which I hated art school, by the way.
I love hearing that. I mean, that reaction to the movie is absolutely that is satisfying. That's the reaction I want. You know, if I have one mission in life, I guess this movie has explained it to me, is to inspire people to create.
Because art is fun. That was my favorite line you had in that entire movie, and it just summed it all up right there. And this movie and these things you make are just hilarious. Like your found twig marionette puppets, and you're like fondling them. I was like, who does that? That's awesome.
I do it.
that was a great, like, anytime I'd go over there, I would go over there on off hours. Anytime I had an hour or a Saturday morning, I would sneak over there and look at what he was doing and just say, okay, just sit there and do that for a while. And eventually he would start talking and then the backstory would come out. But a lot of it was just going there and seeing what he had done that day and trying to wrap some shots around it. Because every time you go to his studio, it's always the same stuff, but for some reason this piece of paper that was drawn on 3 days ago will now be hanging on the wall. Or this puppet that he was working on will be 8 feet tall, and over there in the corner, it was constantly shifting and changing. So it was always like a new experience to walk into that studio and look around and go, okay, what has he done? What are we gonna shoot today?
So, what was your favorite thing that he made?
I would say that the most, it wasn't something that he made, but that trip to the South with Mike Quinn, I'll never forget that. Riding in that topless van, being at that bonfire, and just experiencing those people. And Mike Quinn, who was at the premiere Saturday night, meeting those people and being around that kind of energy was just so special. I mean, it was a really amazing moment.
Yes, the topless van did seem like a lot of fun. Wear your goggles, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, absolutely. That was also Mike's just, he's a very, I keep saying the word special, he's a special person.
Yes.
You talk about energy, motivation to make art. When you're around that guy, you don't want to just make art, you want to do exactly what you're supposed to do every day. He's a spiritual, motivational.
Mike Quinn is my spiritual master. Plus, he drove 14 hours to be here to surprise me from Tennessee at this in Austin for the premiere. That's the kind of guy he is.
Did he come in the topless van?
Nobody came in his wacky mobile. A Taurus Rex that's painted. It's a crazy painted art car.
Wow.
And I was standing on the corner down there at Cesar Chavez and Brazos, and I'm standing there waiting for the light to change. All of a sudden, he comes by and he leans out, wait! And that's the kind of guy he is, and that's the kind of friends that I love to have, full of life, willing to go the extra mile, and it's great. I'm lucky.
You are very lucky, and you guys are very lucky you found each other to make this movie. I loved it. Beauty is Embarrassing. I don't know why I always want to say something else, but it was a great deal of fun.
So you're not far off. The first one did say Beauty Is Embarrassing, right? The first time you painted that?
Yeah.
It was actually Beauty Is Embarrassing. It's from one of his paintings. He used to paint it several times.
Yeah.
So I loved it. You guys did a fantastic job. I want to thank you for taking this time. I hope you guys have a fantastic South by Southwest. Try to keep LBJ down some. I don't know how much more he could take. One over there's missing a nose, one's missing a cheek. Poor LBJ. But you know what? He's going to have some hell of a stories to tell when he gets home.
Oh, man, he loves it. He loves it.
So, yeah, we will see you guys next time, and we'll see what happens for the rest of South by Southwest.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Nice meeting you.
It was awesome. You did it. First movie. Man, just knocked it out of the park. It's genius. Just pure genius right there. That's all I got to say.
This humble room is my studio. These are drawings from the first season of Pee-wee's Playhouse. I designed most of the puppets on the show. Here's my man, Dirty Dog. I wanted him to have this butt hanging out of his mouth, but they wouldn't let us. It's a kid's show. Then I became Randy. Yeah, smoking's cool, Pee-wee. This is a prop from the Smashing Pumpkins video. Whoa! This is Peter Gabriel, Big Time video. This is what happens when you get all proud of yourself and you're polishing your Emmy. Oh, my Emmy! Well, I've worn a lot of different hats. Painter, sculptor, cartoonist, puppeteer, set designer, art director, animator, illustrator.
Kids mainlined it. He was imprinting their brain, and they don't even know it.
The little Zach Galifianakis, the little Snuffy Smith, the little Unabomber.
Wayne has touched people in ways that they don't even know.
My mission is to bring humor into fine art. Ladies and gentlemen, the world's largest George Jones head.
I think when you're an artist, you want to put your stuff out there just because of the exuberance of being creative, and then you feel bad about yourself. So I see that in Wayne's work.
Beauty is embarrassing. It's beautiful out here. It's so beautiful it hurts my feelings.
I saw Wayne's first New York show and I was astonished. It really just blew me away, and I had to find out more about it and him.
This is called Sexy Paintings by Sexy Painters for Sexy People. And I always love that there's a little teeny ghost of the red underpaintings. There's nothing amateurish about anything that he does.
I learned that art could be a 24/7 lifestyle. I learned that art could be fun. I've been trying to make beauty my whole life.
If this can work, there's hope for us all.
I want to try everything I can. I want to take this painting idea and see if you can do a puppet version of it. I want to take the cartooning and turn it into a set. I want to take the set and turn it back into a painting.
That's a true pioneer. That's a person who is never satisfied, always wants to know, how do I understand myself more?
Ladies and gentlemen, Wayne White.
Do what you love. It's going to lead to where you want to go.
threw up on your pillow and you still have it. This just in, Kat's cat throws up on her pillow and she's just fine with it. What kind of kinky stuff are you into?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they've seen some better days. We just put one, that's fine.
Wow. How's it going since your ear's falling off?
Yeah, I know. It was one heck of a party.
You know you're now in our outtakes. I hope you know that, Maggie. All right, we've made the outtakes. How do you feel about that, LBJ?
Man, I need some sleep.
Hi.
Hi there.
Turn around, go. Wait. Okay, so we know, LBJ, that you just finally got out of bed. So how's it going? Going pretty good?
Yeah, I'm still tired.
Okay, so I just noticed you're having this big ear problem. Did you have a problem with Tyson?
Yeah, he got a little too drunk and decided he wanted to eat something.